Good morning. I've just come on a minute or two early because I'm going to share this into my group and I like to start bang on time. Today you are in for a treat. I'm running I always say 1 hour workshop, but I work really fast. So sometimes it goes a lot faster than that. But it's a free workshop on selling your coaching services with grace and ease. As soon as I share, I'm going to post the link to the workbook in the comments, so it should be the top comment by the time you come along. Share inside my group. Alrighty. So now I am going to grab the workbook for you. All right, hello. Good to see someone on. All right, so if you are on my business page, which I will go back to now, I'm going to post the workbook in the comments, so you'll have time now to go and download that. If you're in the group, just check the feed because I posted the workbook just before I came on live, so it'll be sitting there waiting for you. All right, so the workbook is in the links. Hey Sienna, how are you? Good to see you on the call. All right, so we have everything in place. All right, so a bit of a confession. This morning, as I was getting ready to create the workbook for this boot camp, the idea came to me really quickly that it's like, oh, there's so much in this content and it's such a deep subject really, and there are so many bits and pieces that we can cover. And I don't think I'm going to do it justice in just one workshop. So I've gone this morning, the first hour I spent creating a sales page for a program, because I really think that this is going to be a great, I don't think it needs to be a long program, because I think the way that I teach selling doesn't require you to do a lot of heavy learning. So it'll be a 7-day boot camp, and I've got an early bird that's going to run at $297. It's going to go up to $597, and it's a fast acting early bird price. So the price will go up on Monday night. So anyway, there's a link inside the workbook. I'll talk about that later. I'm going to get into the content, but I just want you to know that if you love this content and you find that you want more, then there is more available. So yeah, it wasn't a program I planned to create, but as I say, this morning as I started to dig into the content, I thought this really needs a program. So it's a 7-day boot camp, sorry. We will start at the start of June. So if that's your thing and you're into it, then go ahead and get yourself signed up. All right, actually I might even just drop the page in the comments now, so that if you want to go check it out, you can. All right, it's there. All right, so let's talk about selling with confidence and ease. Well, let's actually start with why this workshop came about. Hey Sean, how are you? I do a lot of work with coaches, and a lot of coaches are amazing at what they do, but they're not great at selling themselves. And when I talk about selling, they all freak out, because selling is often associated with, cheesy pressure tactics, the old used car salesman, and sales feel like sales a lot of the time. But what I'm talking about, and what I'm going to encourage you to do, and through the way that I teach selling, is you actually don't even feel like you're selling. There's so much pre-screening that's done. There's so much pre-selling, I guess you could call it, that's done before anybody ever gets on a sales call with you, that ultimately the sales call becomes a formality just because you've already interacted and engaged with the people that are coming to book those calls with you. You've already done a rigorous screening process, so that people have to jump through a few hoops before you give them any of your one-on-one time. You know, we're all busy, and I know the last thing that any coach wants to do for a couple of reasons is just do discovery call after discovery call after discovery call, especially if they're not going anywhere, right? We want to know that if we get on a discovery call with a potential client, that it's a formality. You know, my conversion rate is almost 100%, and sometimes it's because I'm not prepared to work with that client. I don't think I can help or something like that. But very rarely will somebody come onto a discovery call with me and not sign up for either one of my higher ticket programs or private coaching, because they already know enough about me. They've already gone through my screening process to be able to schedule themselves in for the discovery call. They already know roughly what I charge price-wise and all that sort of stuff, so that it really is just a great conversation that I get to have with this person to uncover, you know, is this the sort of person that I want to work with? Can I help them? All those sorts of things. And that's what I want for you too. I want selling to not feel like selling. I want selling to be something that you don't even think about anymore. I want discovery calls to feel like something you're excited to do in your business every week, because you know that you're going to have great conversations with potential clients who, you know, are likely to be a good fit and are likely just, you know, waiting to have a conversation with you to be able to say yes. That's what I want for you, because if you can do that, you will always be successful as a coach. You will always have a successful coaching business. And I guess I'm going to go back and share my backstory about, you know, my journey to becoming a master seller. And I don't really consider myself that way, but that's really what I am. And I don't want us to shy away from the word or the term sales either, because I think when we do that, we, you know, I don't know, it just disempowers us, I think. So, but in the early days, I would, you know, when I first became a coach in the early 90s, my discovery call process was awful. And it was because I was given a script that I was supposed to follow outside of, you know, once I finished my coaching training. And I had this script, and it just felt clunky. It never felt like it fit. It never felt like it was comfortable. You know, I didn't feel confident going into the calls. And, or, you know, when somebody booked a discovery call, or when I arranged for somebody to come and do a discovery call with me, I was already feeling really uncomfortable before the call even started. And back in the day, a lot of the discovery sessions that I did were face-to-face, because, you know, we're talking the early 90s. There wasn't a lot of stuff going on online back then. And so I was doing this stuff face-to-face, and it's even more awkward when you're face-to-face with somebody. And I just felt like, you know, discovery calls are not for me. This is not how I want to do business. This is not how I want to gain clients, because, well, one, it feels awful, and two, I suck at it. My conversions were terrible. I just did not convert. And I look back now, and there are a number of reasons why I didn't convert. And I'm going to go through those, because I think this is going to help you too, because you're likely making the same mistakes. Now, look, if the workbook doesn't match up with what I'm going with today, then just know that the questions are in there for a reason. You can go through and work through them yourself, but I'm not going to try and tie the content in with the actual workbook today, just because as I say, I created a sales page and then spent not very long on the workbook, but I know that the more I get into the topic, there's going to be some gold in there. So I'm just going to go with that. I will go back and refer to the workbook, but let's just roll with it. Okay, so here's why my discovery calls sucked and why I didn't convert, and probably why it's the same for you. The first thing is, you know, the script. If you've been a coach who's trained with a coaching organization, and they basically said, this is the way that you need to go and run your discovery calls, and if you're trying to run a script that feels awkward to you, then that's going to be a problem. The other issue that I had was that I was a coach, but I didn't really have a package of any description to sell. There was no outcome-based program that I was selling. It was just, oh, I'm a coach, and I've got a 12-week coaching package. And so if people would ask me, you know, so what's the process for the coaching? And it'd be like, well, you know, we set goals, and then we create some strategy, and then I just keep you moving forward, and then, you know, challenge you and all that sort of stuff so that you achieve your goals. And it's like, that's great, but it's like, so what? You know, there's nothing compelling about that. That's basically, you know, this is what I was taught to do with you, and I'm telling you that. Basically, that's where you're at with that, right? So I think when you have, you know, one, you need to be inside your sweet spot. You need to be inside your zone so that the work you're doing, you know, like the back of your hand. You might not have been a coach for a very long time, and that's okay, but you became a coach because you had a particular skill that you were great at, and you thought, I'd make a really great coach. I know I'll be able to help people to do this. And so that's why you became a coach. And so that is your sweet spot. Maybe you've danced around the edges of the sweet spot. Maybe you haven't really unpacked it, and maybe you don't have any particular package around that feels like it's outcome driven or results driven, and it's a very clear offer that your clients can see. So for me, when I started to develop outcome driven programs, so, you know, an example of that is one I ran a little while ago was blow up your coaching business with Facebook groups. That's outcome driven. It's basically saying, come and work with me, and I'm going to show you how to get your coaching business moving along using Facebook groups. Very simple. People understand that. They can wrap their head around it. It was timely. It was like, yeah, I know groups work for people. I just don't know how to do it. And so that helped fill a need for coaches in that space. It was a great program. I loved it. You can actually buy it as an evergreen. I just haven't got it up on my site yet. But if you want that one, let me know and I can shoot it to you. But that was a great program. And so this is outcome driven as well. It's about, or the program that I'm about to launch, which is how to sell your coaching services with grace and ease. And it's going to set you up to have those sales skills so that you feel like, you know, you can have really easy, graceful conversations with potential clients. So there's no pressure, so it doesn't feel awkward and cheesy and all that sort of stuff. So another outcome driven. I have another program running at the moment called the Startup Coach Success Accelerator. And this is for coaches who begin, you know, maybe they want to be a coach, or they've just become a coach and they've stalled and they can't get moving, and there's a lot of things that aren't in place in their business. That takes startup coaches out of that stuck place, or not starting yet, or, you know, having the idea of maybe being a coach but haven't started to do anything about it yet. It takes them, it sets them up with a coaching business so that they've got their offers and all the rest of it, and then I teach them how to go ahead and sell their coaching packages once we've packaged them up. So can you see the theme that I have? And even my coaching packages, the main one that I sell right now is the 5K formula for coaches. It's a 4-week private coaching intensive where we work together for 4 weeks, and I help coaches create a $5,000 coaching package. I do all of the technical work, build sales pages, teach them how to sell it, show them where to go to attract clients, all that sort of stuff. So it's all very outcome driven. It's not just, hey, buy 4 coaching sessions with me. So that's where you need to get to. You need to have a product that is outcome driven, that is very easy for you to explain to people, that is very easy for them to understand. It's very clear. So I've got Shan on the call, and Shan is one of my private clients, and we took a little while to swing into her sweet spot, but now we've worked out what it is. And Shan is a passion project manager. And so what that means is there's no specific passion project that you need to have for her to work with you. So the idea for Shan's coaching packages are, she's a master researcher and she's great at getting you to do what you need to do. And she's very, very, very passionate about, especially for mums who lose themselves a little bit and they become all about their families and all about their kids, and then they realize all the dreams that they had have been shelved and they're not taking any action on them. And so her her coaching packages are designed to say, let's work out what your passion project is if you don't know that already. So maybe you want to write a book. Maybe you want to do a triathlon. Maybe you want to start a business. And so Sian will help you to get really clear on what that passion project is. And she's going to research anything that needs researching. So if you want to write a book and you know it needs research and you know you're not going to do that, she's going to help you to do all of that. She'll research how to get it up on Amazon and do all of the research and support stuff, so you get to just do the fun bit. So again, it's not a specific outcome-driven result based on Sian saying, I'm going to, it's this in particular. It's relying on her clients to say, yep, I'm willing to explore with you what my passion project is, and then let's do it. And so you can see there's a lot of appeal in a program like that for the right type of client. And so I want you thinking about that for yourself. What is an outcome-driven package that you can create for your coaching clients or your potential clients? Because if you can nail that, when you're having your discovery calls and those sales conversations, it's a very easy sell because it's very clear. My 5K formula for coaches is it's very clear. I'm going to teach you how to package up a $5,000 coaching package. I'm going to build all the sales pages and give you everything that you need to start bringing in those discovery calls so that you can close $5,000 coaching packages. Usually in that 4-week program, my most successful client sold 4 of those $5,000 coaching packages in 4 weeks. The average is 1 to 2. The 4 was, I haven't had anybody match that yet, but it's definitely possible. And so you can see how appealing that is for a coach. It's packaged up, they know the price, they know that if they invest this much and they sell one, there's a return on investment, all those sorts of things. And it covers all of the things that are holding them back. Things like, building their own sales pages, screening their clients, all that sort of stuff. So, I want you really thinking about that with your packaging, because being confident in selling your coaching packages comes down to you being confident in your product. And if you're not confident in your product and you can't clearly articulate the result that a client will achieve through working with you, if they do the work, then what's going to happen is you're going to have this muddled message and you're just going to be making noise when you're talking. And so what we want is to have a lot of clarity, a lot of conviction around what it is that you're selling. Because remember, and I'll get to the pre-screening in a minute, but the people that are coming onto the discovery calls with you already have a bit of a sense of what you're doing, and they already have a sense for your style, your teaching style, all that sort of stuff, and they know what it is that you offer. So they're going to come onto the call knowing a lot of stuff about you to begin with, but when you're really clear and you can talk to this at a deeper level and help them really understand how it relates to them and their particular problem, you're going to be able to sell so easily. So the first step really is making sure that your package is very, very clear and that it's outcome driven. Hey, it's so good to have people on. So Sian's on, George. Hey, George, and Sarah. Good to see you, Sarah. So that first thing is really getting clear about your package and knowing that you can articulate that really clearly, not just in a sales page, but as you talk about it. That's going to be the, really important. And then, as I say, so the first thing was the scripting. Second thing is really being not using scripting, because that will restrict you. Feeling confident in your package, and then it's the screening, the pre-screening. So a big part of what I do, and where many of my coaching clients come from, and the people that sign up to my group programs, they come to me because they've been exposed to my content. So this particular workshop will be, it'll be spread far and wide. It'll be something that I create a campaign around to be able to sell people into that program. So a lot of people are exposed to my content, and my content is what inspires action. It either inspires the buy button because it's a lower priced item, or if it's private coaching or more of a high ticket coaching program, group program, then they will schedule a discovery call or just a quick, time to have a quick chat. But it all comes from the content. And so what you need to be really clear about is, what is your messaging, and is it in alignment with the thing that you offer? Because the coaches that I work with become an expert in a certain field. They become the expert. And what I love about that is, when you niche in a particular area and you get to become an expert in that field, if you're only working in that field and you just become really good at it. I just had a thought about, when you go to a coffee shop and they make you a really shitty coffee and you're like, you had one job just to make me a good coffee. How can you screw that up? Like, this is your job to be making good coffee. And it's like, yeah, if you are a barista, you would think that you would have one thing to focus on. You want to be good at it. You want to be the best at it, right? And so it's the same with coaching, I think. I think that the work that I do with coaches has just made me so much better at what I do, because it's what I know. And the more I do it, the better I get at it. The more I do it, the deeper my knowledge is. The more I do it, the better I am at helping my clients move through the content that I give them faster and more, just better. I ran a call this morning. It was a call in support of my Startup Coach Accelerator. It was our first live call. There are a bunch of people on that program, but one person turned up to the live call. It includes private coaching, so I imagine not many are going to make those group calls. But the lady that came onto the call was really struggling to uncover her niche. And so we spent the half-hour call and I just helped her to unpack that. And there was so much clarity and it felt so easy for me to do that. It just felt like I got off the call and I'm thinking, thank God that's recorded, because I think I want to get permission from her to be able to, send that recording to people or put it in my group or something like that, because that's going to give a real insight to people about how I do the work that I do and how I unpack the things that I unpack with my clients. But it felt so easy, and that's where I want you to be with your coaching. It should feel easy. If it feels like you are having to push too hard, if it just feels like hard work to be good at the thing that you're doing, you're not in your sweet spot, and we need to get you into that sweet spot so that it feels easy. I can't stress that enough. If it feels hard, you're doing it wrong. That's really what it comes down to. And I'm not talking about the marketing, because the marketing can feel hard, especially if you're finding your feet there, but I'm talking about the actual coaching. If you have questions, now's the time to ask them, because I'm on the call. I can answer your specific questions. So anytime that I'm talking, let me know. If you're watching the recording, just make sure that you put your questions in the comments and I will get back to you. I'm just going to quickly go through the workbook, because I really should, shouldn't I? Okay, so when we're setting the foundations for successful selling, one of the things that I want you to consider is, what are the past experiences you've had with selling that freak you out? So, when I think back to when I was first doing discovery calls and I got so many no's, and, when I think back to, and this is how I got to being good at what I do with the selling side of things, is I worked at, okay, so what part, and I do this with many things, but I dissected it, and it's like, okay, so what are the things that I really freaking hate about discovery calls? What are the bits that suck for me? And it was like trying to follow that bloody script that just felt like painful, and it was awful. So that was one thing. The close at the end, asking that, so do you want to work together? Just feeling so awkward. I hated that bit, definitely hated that bit. I hated the fact that people would come on discovery calls, you'd spend an hour with them, and then they'd be like, yeah, I've got no money, sorry, yeah, but thanks for your time. It's like, I don't have time for that shit, and you don't have time for that shit. So we don't want that. So those were all of the things that really freaked me out about selling and doing discovery calls. It just felt like It was hard work. I didn't feel like I was good at it. It felt awkward and uncomfortable, and it felt like a massive freaking waste of time a lot of the time. So what are your past experiences around selling that kind of freak you out or just make you avoid it because of that? Because I want you to know, I want you to write it down, spend some time with the workbook, but I want you to know that all of those things that sucked, all of those things that made you feel uncomfortable and all that sort of stuff, you don't have to do any of those things. And it does not have to be like that, but just get clear, because what you can do is as you go through that, you can say, well, this bit sucked and I hate this bit. And it's like, well, okay, how can I do my discovery calls and have conversations with coaches that don't require any of this bit? Because you just got to eliminate the stuff that you don't want. All right. So, and the next thing I want you to think about is, what are your confidence blockers? So I spoke to you earlier about, you know, if you don't have a package that makes sense, that's really clear and easy for you to sell, if you get on calls and you're like, well, I don't feel confident because I don't really have a product, or I don't really feel confident because my website sucks, or I don't really feel confident because I don't think my pricing's right, or I don't feel confident because I'm selling this thing and I don't really think I'm that great at it, or I feel like, you know, the client's going to be hard work, and I don't think I'm going to be able to get them a result or whatever. So work out what are those confidence blockers. And again, remember, you don't have to deal with any of that stuff. If you're not confident with something, eliminate it, get rid of it. You don't need it. And then the next question is, what ducks do you need to get in a row to be yes ready? So what I mean by that is, so what do you need to be ready for someone to say yes, for you to get on a call and somebody to say yes? So for me, what that looks like is, I need to know that when I get on a call, yes, I have all the, you know, they come to me pre-screened, they know what I offer, they know what my price point is, they know all of that sort of stuff. So we've taken care of all of that, right? That's just an assumption that we're there. Then what needs, so if somebody says yes to me on the call, what do I do next? What do you do next? And so for me, that's having my process of being able to send out my client agreement, to invoice them, to have a way to be paid. If they need a payments, you know, a payment plan, a way to be able to implement that payment plan. You know, all of the different bits and pieces that I need. So if somebody says yes, I feel safe saying, yes, great, welcome aboard, because everything will swing into action using the systems that I have in place. So what do you need to, what ducks do you need to get in a row to be ready for a yes? And the reason that I put that in there is because without even realizing it, a lot of the time we have, you know, we're repelling clients all the time. And one of the reasons that we repel clients is because energetically we want them, but we're not ready for them. And one of the reasons we're not ready is if we, you know, we don't feel like we can rely on our contracts or client agreements, if we don't feel, you know, we have a level of professionalism around that stuff, if that feels off to you, or you feel like you're leaving yourself open for, you know, litigation or someone asking for their money back or whatever, you will continue to repel clients on an energetic level. So you need to make sure all of that stuff feels aligned, it feels solid, you know, so that you have confidence in your systems, so that if somebody says yes, you can swing into action, and then down the track, if somebody says yes and then the shit hits the fan for a reason, then you've covered yourself. All super, super important. So make sure that you have confidence in that. There was something else that was playing in the back of my mind then. Hopefully it'll come back to me, but it was about, oh yeah, that was the other thing. So another reason that people can energetically be rejecting clients is because they haven't set their coaching times. So you might say, I want coaching clients, but you're so freaking busy in life that you're like, but I don't really have time for coaching clients. So what I recommend that you do there is pick a coaching day, or, you know, 3 blocks of time, for example, that you know you can coach in mark them out on your calendar, commit to them, and know that this is the time that you will be coaching. So my coaching days are Tuesday, Thursdays. And for me, I think I'm going to change it to Tuesday, Wednesdays. But right now, and they have been for a few years now, Tuesdays and Thursdays are my coaching days. And so I know that if I want to fit anything in around those days, I've got to be really careful and I need to make sure my calendar is reflective of that, so people don't accidentally book in when I've planned to do something else. So I've had to be a master manager of my calendar. Sometimes things still slip through, but most of the time, 99% of the time, it feels okay for me for clients to book discovery calls or do coaching calls, because the time is there, I've allocated it, that's what those days are for. So that may be a duck that you need to get in a row. Maybe you're thinking, I want to be a coach and I want to have, coaching clients, but if you step back and have a look at it, you think, well, I'm not really set up for it. I don't have time in my calendar marked around for that. So, and maybe you feel like having coaching clients is going to kind of cramp your style, because it's like, if I have it on Tuesdays, then that means I can't do this thing. So work through that stuff, and be committed to the times that you want to coach, be committed to that. I don't take on coaching clients outside of Tuesdays and Thursdays. I just don't do it because, hey Isha, because I always resent it, and I always wish I hadn't changed, always wished I hadn't caved. So for me, it's like, these are my coaching hours. There are very, 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 very few people who won't, hello, Anish, I think that's how you say it. So there are very, very few people that won't work around my time schedule because they really want the coaching. Is it not clickable? Are you talking about the workbook, Anish, or the program? That is not good. All right, so what I'm going to do, just while I'm talking, just don't let me lose my train of thought around that. I'm going to just put the PDF. So it's not clickable for you either, Isha. Okay, you know what I'm going to do? Bear with me. Bear with me, people. I am going to download it, and then I'm going to upload it onto the page. So while I'm copy and paste it into your browser. Yeah, okay, yeah, you can copy and paste it into your browser. That's how I would do it. But let me just see if I can upload it onto my page. Let's see how we go with that. Okay, let's just get rid of that. Any questions you've got in the meantime, I will try and talk at the same time so that we don't have this big white space. But yeah, the scheduling and being able to take payments, that's another one. So it's feeling like you can, okay. Okay. It's not letting me upload a file. It's all right. I will work out a way to get you, I tell you what, I will work out a way to get you the workbook. So if you're in my group, go to my group because it's definitely in the group. I will upload it as a file there. If you're on my page and you want the PDF, just message me with your email address and I will email you the PDF. There, we have it. We have a system. We have a system. All right. The reason that I did it this way, normally I would upload the PDF, but the reason I did it this way is some people had trouble uploading it. But anyway, we're good to go. All right, so yeah, ducks in a row. Don't underestimate being sales ready will be to do with things like not just being good at the sales calls, but all of those other things that I spoke about, having time in your schedule, knowing that you feel confident in your client agreements and all those bits and pieces, scheduling and all those things. So really take care of those. All right. So the next thing that I want to talk about is creating a successful selling mindset. So I want you to, because right now, if you feel like you suck at sales, you've been identifying as somebody who sucks at sales, right? And that was me. It's like, I suck at sales. Okay, I'm going to go off on a tangent. And my earliest experiences of sucking at selling was when I was 20 years of age. I got a job at a timeshare resort, and it was like rah, everything was sales, 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 sales. Yes, Isha, good to know. Everything was about sales, and we had sales training, and it was blah blah, and it was full on. And when I'm selling this timeshare resort, I was basically selling dirt and a few buildings because it was brand new, and I'm supposed to be selling this vision of, you know, oh, and over here is going to be the lake, and over here is going to be the thing, and we and all the cool kids were selling, you know, and I wanted to hang out with the cool kids and, you know, buy the things that they were buying and go to the places that they were going and all that sort of stuff. And I was living on the retainer, which was like $120 a week or something like that. And every time I would make a sale, I would have to pay back the freaking retainer. And then I'm going to look for your message in a minute, Sherry. And then I would have to pay back the retainer. And it was like, man, you know, and then half the time the sales would cancel, like they would pull the pin on the sale, and I wouldn't have anything. And so that was what I thought selling was about, and it sucked. All right, so haha, yes, that's me. I feel like I suck at sales. I want more practice but have trouble even getting people on the phone. Yeah, we're going to talk about that. But yeah, you're not alone, that is for sure. All right, so where was I? So that was my first experience. So that's what I'm talking about, successful selling mindset. How will you show up and sell confidently with ease and grace? So that was me. It was like, oh my God, I suck at sales. And so I just avoided it. So I had like funnels that were a work of art, you know, any way that I could get people to sign up with me without having to get on a call, I did it. Like that was my mode of operation. That's how I did things, and it worked. So I was really lucky and happy about that. But for me, I identified as somebody that wasn't good at sales. I identified as a bit of a loser because all the other people at the holiday resort were selling. You know, even there was this cokehead guy that was walking around like sniffing his nose, you know, the whole time, and it's like this guy was killing it in sales, and I'm like, what the fuck is wrong with me that I can't sell? And essentially what it came down to, I now know, is that I didn't believe in the product that I was selling. I just didn't believe in what I was selling, and people could see I was lying my ass off. Like, I'm not very good at that stuff. So it's probably good, you know, I'm glad I wasn't good at that, but I had to really shift my identity around this stuff and say, well, forgetting all of that and putting that all aside, because that was that and this is this, and doing the work around getting my ducks in a row, feeling confident about my product and all the rest of it. So then how do I show up confidently with grace and ease? And for me, what that looks like is, it used to look like making sure that I dressed up, did my makeup, and I was really organized and professional for the calls. And now, like yesterday, I did a call, and I'd done Muay Thai. I went to the gym, did Muay Thai, went for a walk for an hour, got back, I was like, no makeup on, like, yeah, it was a shit show. But I was like, you know what? This is who I am. It's totally fine. And so for me, it's the confidence comes from the fact that I know my stuff, and I don't need to perform for anybody. I don't need to do that. I just need to go on, see if this is somebody that I can work with and help, and then let them make the decision about that. I'm not into forcing anybody to work with me. I don't need the sale. It's like, if you want to work with me, that's great. If I think I can help you, it's a yes from me. If I like you, it's a yes from me. If I think I can't help you, let's talk about that, because I want to be sure about it. And if I think I can't help you, I will tell you. But most of the people that come to me are, you know, they already know what I do, and they really just want to have a conversation to see if the person that they see doing the live streams and writing the blogs is actually the same person when they are one-on-one with that person, and I'm the same person. So for me, showing up confidently with grace and ease is just being an extension of, well, it's just me being me, and that's what I want for you too. You don't need to perform for anybody. You don't need to really plan and prepare ahead for your discovery calls. I don't. You know, I got back from my walk 5 minutes before I got on the call because like, I don't need to prepare for anything. I know my stuff. I'm just going to listen to somebody basically and make a decision about, yes, I think I can help you. And yep, are we a good fit? Are you ready to go? When do you want to start? Yep, cool, away we go. So for you, it might take a lot more work now, you know, because you're not quite where I am just yet. So how will you need to show up and sell confidently with ease and grace? What's going to feel good for you? Is it about, you know, I know there was a friend that I had that she used to listen to this song that used to pump her up before sales calls. I don't do that. But so that was her thing. And for others, it's, you know, my clients in the early days, I make sure that before they do their discovery calls, they're reading their sales pages and really connecting with the message and connecting with the program that they have, because there was a lot of love that's gone into those sales pages. There was a lot of excitement around, oh my God, yes, this is it. So I want them in that energy before they run their discovery calls, because if they're really clear on what it is that they do and how they do it, and they're in love with the whole process of doing it and attracting the right people, their sales calls always go really, really well. So what do you need to do to show up and sell confidently with grace and ease? All right, next, how to convert with ease. So this is where I'm going to talk about screening, confidence, and content. So screening is a big thing for me. As I said earlier, I'm going to reiterate because some of you jumped on the call late, but what I don't want for me and for you is to get on discovery calls and spend an hour with somebody and then for them to say, oh, sorry, I've got no money, or oh yeah, I'm not really looking to start now. I'm thinking maybe, you know, I'm just kind of doing the groundwork, and you're like, I don't have time for this shit. I don't have time to spend an hour with somebody who's got no money or isn't ready to start coaching now. You know, we don't want to be doing that. And it also, the more that happens, the more no's we're going to get. And the more no's we get, the more defeated we become about doing discovery calls. So we want to set ourselves up to win from the get-go. So I have a pretty rigorous screening process. You know, they've got to book only on certain times. There's a bunch of questions that I have that that my discovery calls go through, and one of them is asking them, what is your coaching budget, and if we're a good fit, are you ready to start right now? It's like, I don't want to waste time. And that's, so a lot of people will start to fill out that discovery call form, and if they're like, oh no, I'm not ready to start, they'll abort, and that's fine. Or if somebody fills out a form and they say, you know, I'm thinking of starting in maybe 3 or 4 months, I will always go back and say, that's great. You know what? I only run discovery calls with people who are ready to get started. So please, I'm going to cancel our session, but when you're ready, come and book another call, because I'm happy to talk to you, but I'm not really prepared to spend an hour with you if you're not ready to start for a few months. And sometimes that will be enough for them to say, no, you know what, I am ready to get started now. So, you know, are you still happy to do the call? And sometimes if somebody's budget is not matching up with what I charge, I'll say, look, do you know that my budget is this? So is there any wiggle room on your budget? Because based on the price that you're showing me, I don't, like, my coaching is out of your price range. And if they say, no, that's really the budget, I'm like, yeah, look, keep an eye on my group programs, because there's going to be something you can afford there, but private coaching is probably not going to be within your price range right now. But, you know, if things change, get in touch with me. And sometimes it will be enough for them to say, you know what, I do have a credit card that I'm going to be able to use. So if I feel like, you know, I really want to get started, then I will be able to find the money. I was like, cool. And I just want to clarify those things so that I don't get to the end of a call and say, okay, when do you want to start? And they're like, well, I don't have any money. Like, I don't want to be doing that. You don't want to be doing that. It's just awkward and gross. So you don't need to do that. And the way you can avoid that is through making sure you've got a really cool screening process in place. And then the confidence comes from, again, the stuff that I touched on earlier, being really confident in your product, being really clear about your product. So essentially, when I say product, it's your outcome-driven or results-based coaching package, which is why my coaches all charge high-ticket prices, because it's outcome-driven, results-based, high-touch, high-quality coaching, and they're going to get a result if they do the work. And so my coaching clients all have confidence in their ability to get their clients a result, because I've made sure they're in their sweet spot, that the package is 100% in alignment with them feeling bulletproof about, yes, I can do this. There is nothing about this coaching package that feels hard for me. I can easily go ahead and do this. So it's about having confidence in all of those things. It's again, having confidence in your systems. So if somebody says yes, are you prepared and ready to send them a client agreement that you feel confident in? Are you confident that you have time available to take on coaching clients if they start, if people start knocking on your door, all of those things. And then finally, it comes to content. So what I want to say to you about content is, again, something that I spoke about a little earlier. Most of my discovery calls come from content. So I've really ramped up my content this week. And I've been going live every single day. I've been blogging every single day. I email every single day. So my blog and my videos get emailed to my list every day. I usually do something else inside my group each day. I'm now on Pinterest, where my blog and my live streams are pinned. I'm going to look into the advertising around that. I'm not into Pinterest advertising, but I'm definitely going to look at that. But for now, I'm just building a body of work. LinkedIn, I started playing on that. YouTube, all of my live streams get uploaded to YouTube. They also get loaded onto my website, so that if you go to my website, michellehex.com/TV, all of my videos, or my most recent and the good ones, are all, because there are some bad ones, are all sitting there in a carousel, so you can flick through them and look for the content that you are looking for, and then you can watch away. You can binge watch my videos if you want to, all in the one spot. So I'm a content creation machine when I'm on, and it always brings about a big result fast, because my philosophy is the more content you put out there, it's quality, it's got to be quality, but the more content you put out there, the more likely it is that people are going to see that content. And it's the same for me with launching group programs. The more I launch, the more money I make. Even if I have 4 or 6 people sign up on a program, if I don't launch that program, then that's income that I'm not generating. So for me, it's like launch more, make more, launch more, make more, deliver more content, and attract more discovery calls or people to sign up for my programs. So for me, it's all about content. And what I love about the content that I create, especially these days, is it's so specific to my people. So when I say my people, coaches, coaches who are either already successful and they're looking for a way to scale from there, or newbie coaches who haven't got started yet, or they've done their training and then they're stuck, or coaches who aren't coaches yet. So they might be people who are successful in a certain field. So for example, I've coached people who have been martial arts school owners to become martial arts success coaches, hairdressers who have had successful salons to become salon success coaches, accountants to become money coaches, personal trainers to become success coaches for personal trainers. So anyone that's become good at their craft and has got a track record of success, I can help them to formulate coaching packages and develop themselves as coach, give them a coaching framework so that they can go ahead and become a success coach in that area. I love to do that. And so all of the content that I'm putting out is to help those people and to show my expert and experience in that area. So Sherry's saying, do you batch your content? I'm in the healing industry. I don't know how to share a lot of content and not give away all of my good stuff. Oh, that is such a good question. No, I don't batch. I don't batch anything. And the reason that I don't batch anything is because I never know what I want to say. And so I don't, so every day when I'm in the shower, I'm thinking about, okay, so what do I want to share today? What do I want to talk about today? And I'm thinking back about conversations or comments that have gone on in my community, and it's like, yeah, I really want to talk about that today. And so that's how I come up with my live stream content. Sometimes my written content will be like the same or a little bit something that stemmed from that. But a lot of the time my written content comes from me looking at images. It's like, I want a pretty image for my blog post. And I just start looking at images, and if I see an image that for some reason that inspires me to come up with an idea, and then that's how I write. I know there are people that batch and they do it really well. I'm not that person because I like my content to be fresh. And I do my best thinking when I'm in the moment, all right? Now, how do you share a lot of content and not give away all of my... I'm gonna do a whole live stream on this. Yes, perfect. Yeah, it is challenging, but you know what? Being challenged doesn't stop you from doing it. Sometimes you just gotta step away, go for a walk or whatever, and something will come to you. And it also doesn't have to be perfect every single day. And sometimes, you know, if I get really stuck for content, I'll go back and look at some old stuff and go, oh yeah, I think I want to talk about that again. So there's always a way to find inspiration, I think anyway. Okay, how do you share content and not give away your stuff? This is such a common question. I will do a whole other live stream on this because I think it's freaking the best question ever. Because I get it all the time. People ask me this all the time. My coaches that I work with are always asking me this. But essentially what I want you to remember in a nutshell is that giving somebody information is not the same as helping them implement that information. So you can give people ideas, you can give them, you know, this is what I do and this is why it works, but you don't tell them how. Or you can tell them this is how, go and do it, but human nature is what it is, and they're not going to do it without somebody helping them, without the accountability, without the knowledge and all those things that you bring, simply because they would have done it by now if they were going to do it, right? So for me, I'm never scared of sharing too much content. You know, my clients that pay me a lot of money every month are on my calls, on my live stream calls. You know, they still come on the calls because they get a lot of value from them. So that's the level of the content that I give. My paid clients who get to spend time with me every week and, you know, they have Voxer access to me and all those sorts of things, they still jump on these calls because they know the quality of the calls is great. So what I'm saying there is, so don't be afraid to give too much. You have many people who tell me they don't need to hire me because I share so much with them by live stream. Yeah, my sense is they don't need to hire you because they were never going to hire you, not because you share so much. It's easy for people to say that, but if they got a lot of value, they know that they would get more value if they worked one-on-one with you. You just know that, right? Yeah, so I'm not saying they're telling porcupines, but take it with a grain of salt, because honestly, I don't really believe it. Anyway, I'm going into a little thinking, but it's like, that's a whole other conversation that we can have. All right. So what I want you to do, the last page in the worksheet, is attracting discovery calls through kick-ass content. with 2 T's. I'm going to have to fix my little typo. List 3, oh, and then we've got content without an N. Sorry about that. Okay, so list 3 content ideas you have right now that will inspire your audience to book a discovery call. So as I say, booking discovery call, getting or inspiring your people to book discovery calls is not saying, hey, I'm a coach, book a discovery call. Hey, you know, I give away a free hour of my time, so come and book a discovery call. That's not how you get people to book discovery calls. You inspire them to book a discovery call because they're so freaking excited about the content that you've shared. And it's like, oh, this person can help me. I know this person can help me. So that's how my discovery calls all come about, through content. The clients that come to work with me come to me because of my content. So what are 3 content ideas that you have right now that will inspire your audience to book a discovery call with you? Bearing in mind that sometimes you might be uncomfortable with the level of information that you're going to share. Don't be scared about that, because the only thing that's going to do is show your potential clients the depth of your knowledge. Okay, so, you know, there are always going to be people that don't buy, but there are going to be many people who will buy because of that. All right, so that's the workbook done, typos and all. And so on the last page, there is the information about my Sell Your Coaching Services with Grace and Ease, a 7-day boot camp for coaches who suck at selling and want to be better. Now, right now, I have an early bird running. So if you are watching this as a recording later, the early bird's going to be gone. But it is a fast acting early bird offer. So go ahead and check out the link, which is in the workbook. Oh, except you haven't got the workbook. All right, so let me go to my page, and I'm going to drop the link in on the live stream for the program, so you can go check it out. It's only $297 and I even have a payment plan right now, which is super cheap. We're going to run it over 5 days. I'm going to drop it in the group too. So it's going to be run over 5 days, 7 days. 5 days of content. So the way that I do these boot camps is we do content Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, then you've got the weekend to catch up if you need to, and then we go again on the Tuesday and the Thursday. So I'm just dropping that link in my group now as well for the people watching inside the group. And let me just give you an idea of what we're going to be covering. All right, so day 1 is going to be about laying those foundations. It's about you know, really delving into why it feels so sucky to sell and why you feel like you don't do a good job of it and why it's not your fault. We're going to eliminate the confidence blockers, and I'm going to help you to be sales ready. So it's going to be making sure you've got that clear offer, so that exactly what we spoke about earlier, you have confidence in that, and you know that you have a results-based package, an outcome-driven package that makes sense to your people, and you're going to be prepared for a yes. So I'm going to run you through a checklist of all the things that you need to have in place so that when somebody says yes, you can swing into action and feel confident in your systems. Day 2 is about successful selling mindset. So I'm going to talk to you about the mindset you need to have to become a master seller of your product. How to tap into the confidence and energy mindset you need quickly to be able to do those calls, and then how to begin to identify as a confident, successful coach who sells with grace and ease. So I want you to really own that space, own that energy, so that you're not freaking out every time you do a discovery call, because you don't want to lose the sale before you even start. Day 3 is about the pre-screening to increase conversions. Why pre-screening is important, how I screen my discovery calls so that they become a formality, the systems I use and how I use them. And then day 4 is discovery call mastery, so how I run my discovery calls and why they convert so well. mapping out your discovery call process based on that. You know, you might just say, you know what, I think that's going to work for me too, and do exactly as I do, and that's totally fine. But otherwise, it's going to be helping you to do it in a way that feels more comfortable for you. And how to avoid the awkward bit at the end, the bit where you ask for the sale. Like, you know, if you've ever been in that position where it's like, okay, now I've got to ask for the sale and it feels gross, like how to avoid that. And day 5 is attracting discovery calls through content, the types of content that inspire action. We're going to delve into content creation mastery so that you're able to create content easily, the sort of content that inspires action, and what to do when you run out of content. So we're going to cover a lot in 5 days. It's going to be fast paced. I'm not going to give you so much information that you're overwhelmed. I'm going to give you the right information in the right amount so that you can just keep moving forward. And as I say, we start on the 5th of June, and the fast acting early bird price ends on Monday night. So it's $300 off. It's almost half price. The early bird rate is $297 US. And there's a payment plan of 3 installments, fortnightly installments at $110 US. So if you want those prices and you want the early bird, jump on it now. If not, it's still going to be a bargain, but make use of the early bird now if you can, because it's going to be a great program. I'm excited to deliver it. Look at that, 10:59. That's like exactly an hour, almost, with 1 minute to spare. That's a wrap, guys. So as I say, if you want the workbook and you haven't been able to access it, message me and I will get you the PDF. If you're inside the group, it'll be under the files tab along with this video. And if you've got any questions before I wrap up, let me know because I have time. Otherwise, I'm gonna log off and go do the grocery shop, living the dream. And then I've got to go to the gym. And then I've got to write my blog and email my list. And that's about it. All right, no questions? You are very welcome. Take care. The PDF, yeah. Rebecca, shoot me a message and I will get the PDF to you. All right? Bye.